Now, we've been joined by a very special guest. Will you please allow us to introduce you to Mickey Chambers? How nice to meet you. And let me just do a little bit of a CV regrouping here, because this is a long CV. Brilliant amputee footballer who has been capped over 100 times for England. He's England's all-time top goal scorer. How many now, Mickey?
It's probably in the hundreds now.
In the hundreds now. He's so good he's lost count. Twice crowned World Player of the Year, and what's sickening about this man, Stephen, is that he's now a brilliant snooker player as well, because he's won all 6 World Disability Billiards and Snooker events that you've entered, and you are just about to join the board of the WDBS. So you're going to be a formative figure on that. Welcome. How on earth did you get involved in this game when you've been so involved outdoors in football?
Well, I never knew anything about it until maybe 2-3 years ago. I rocked up to my local snooker club in Call, and the owner there said to me, "Are you aware of disability snooker?" I said, "No, not at all." Turned up a couple of days later, won the event, and never looked back.
Goodness me! And had you touched the club before that?
Yeah, I've been quite regularly there. It's my local club that I've been playing there for a good number of years. But in terms of anything on the tours or anything like that, it was just really with my friends in the club having a good knock, and that was really it, really.
Fantastic.
I was going to say, what other sport? Because obviously football is a moving ball, snooker's a dead ball, so you would think you're either good at one or the other, but are you good at golf as well, or is it?
No, definitely not good at golf. We went there a couple of weeks ago and I was awful.
Right.
But no, I mean, I've always been a lover of snooker. Growing up, I wanted to be a professional snooker player. Unfortunately, that didn't work out for me, but I was always a keen player anyway, and I always keep my true action and keep playing as much as I can. In terms of football, I play on crutches, so I take my prosthetic off and play on crutches, so that's more of a different, like you say, technique to snooker.
Right, okay.
But snooker was my first love, and it probably always will be, even though I've won more with football than I have snooker.
Highest breaks?
Yeah, I've had 123,
Wow.
I think it was my highest.
Right.
In the tournament, in the tour, I've not quite hit a maximum, or a century,
right.
But I'd like to try and get that. That's my next ambition anyway.
Mickey, you're going to be a guiding voice in the World Disability Billiards and Snooker scene now. And first of all, can you explain the circumstances of how you lost your leg in the first place?
Yeah, so I had a blood disease when I was 3 years old. That must have been awful for my parents to sort of go through. I don't really know much of it, to be honest. I've always sort of lived my life as an amputee. That was, what, 20 odd years ago now, so I've pretty much lived my whole life like this. So for me, it's no different to an able-bodied person, really.
So in which case, what are you hoping to bring to this new role? Because this has been a really difficult time for disability snooker, indeed for all disability sports, because particularly in this game, there's been no events to go up because of the pandemic. So how do you think you're going to come out of this, and really what are your targets as a board member now?
Yeah, so for me, it's really liaising with the players on the tour. I mean, there's different disabilities that I've got to work towards and work with, so we need to be very careful in terms of who we're going to be playing against and when we can get the restart going. I mean, as a board member now and as a player, I have a great affiliation with the players and also the staff, so I can be that sort of bridge between the players to say, these are the questions that are being asked, these are the answers, and these are the questions that we need to ultimately find out when we can get back playing. For me, as a player, I can't wait to get back out there, but also as a board member, I need to sort of make sure that we do it in the right way.
I was going to say, obviously, my connection with the Crucible, my biggest rival was Jimmy White. Who's your biggest rival on the tour? Is someone you played regularly in the finals, or is it different players?
I've played a couple of players. I've played William Thompson and David Church. For me, are probably the two of the best players that I've come across.
Right.
And I've managed to get the better of them on both occasions, which is great, and I'm sure they'll thank me for that. But it's great to be able to play against different players.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of my disability. I mean, they've basically... I don't just play against amputees, I play against people with different disabilities, so it's great to be able to do that, but we also need to be careful that we make sure that the disabilities groups are also put as evenly as possible, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure, that was where I was going to go with this, because the interesting thing is you are clearly of a standard which may allow you to develop as a player and possibly even think about becoming a professional in time. Ultimately, is the ultimate ambition, Mickey, here to put people who have disabilities into this context and environment on the main tour? Is that the ambition, or is it a dual approach, really?
I think the ambition is to grow the sport as much as possible. I think Paralympics is something that is being spoken about, so it'd be great if we can get into the Paralympics. That should be something amazing. I mean, I know the board members and the players would be buzzing if that was to take place. First and foremost, it's getting back playing. getting the players back on the bays, as you will, and we can hopefully take it forward. I mean, the board don't want it more than anybody. I mean, we've had communications with the players. I've been asked questions already about where we're going to go as a sport. After our first board meeting, everything seems very positive, and the guys that are involved and the guys that are asking the questions are getting the answers. It's an exciting time for disability snooker, and it's amazing to be a part of it.
I tell you what, it's an exciting time with you at the helm, because what a fantastic communicator you are, and we wish you the very best with everything you're doing. Will you keep us in touch with what you're up to? And final word, who's going to win the World Championship?
I don't want it for love, I don't want to go past Ronnie, but I think off my head, I think I'm probably going to have to go with Judd.
Okay, all right, we'll be seeing Judd very shortly. Thank you so much. Really nice to meet you. Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, this morning we welcome back Northern Ireland's Mark Allen, the 2018 Masters champion. He's not brought a heck of a lot of form with him to the Crucible this time, but he always brings strong opinions.